Hey, welcome to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy, and today I'm checking out Space Explorers. Now, if you've been following our channel for a while, you know that this is a game that we did a Kickstarter preview for, and so now I was walking through my game room the other day, and I said, hey, I've never reviewed Space Explorers, so I thought I'd take that off the shelf and let you know what I think about the final version of the game. Now, at the beginning of our reviews, we like to do a buy it, play it, hate it rating. And green means go buy that game and add it to your collection. White means maybe you wouldn't buy it, but you definitely play it. And then red means don't buy it, don't play it because you hate it. Space Explorers gets a green rating from me. And that is because I love what this has. This game has meat on the bones for a little card game. Now, everyone is going to compare this game to Splendor because it shares a similar mechanic in that when you go to buy a card, if you've previously bought other ones, it will make that card cheaper. And so it really has that feeling to it. And there are goal projects that you're trying to do that you need 2 blue, 2 green, 2 yellow, 2 red, and if you do, you get 5 points. And that is very, almost identical to Splendor. But for a lot of people, if you've played Splendor, then you know that there's really not that much to it. I just get the gems, I buy the cards, that lets me buy the higher price cards, I score the points, go into the nobles, that's the end of the game. Well, this one has a lot more going on in it, and it is the reason why I like it so much. And so if you've played Splendor before and you're like, it's too simple, then you need to check out this one because that same mechanic that is very enticing, that you really, really like, where things get cheaper and you can do more and more as the game progresses. This game has all of that in it. So let me show you what you get in the box, and then we're going to talk about how the game plays. So in the box, you're going to get these specialist cards, these project tokens. Everybody has a play area. This is like a 2-piece thing that's going to tell you where to slot in your scientist. And then you get these little icons here, these little tokens that we are going to be passing around the board. Now, on your turn, you get to do one of 2 things. You're either going to pick up specialists out of here, either face-up ones or blind from the deck, or you're going to be paying to put those specialists into action. And this is where all of this starts to play in. Because you're trying to score victory points, and a lot of the cards have victory points listed on them, or maybe at the end of the game, sometimes like this one, depends on what you've done during the game. So this card could be worth a lot or a little. But you're trying to pay to put these people into your deck. So like, let's say I want to pay to put this red one in here. The cost is listed right here on the left. I need to pay a blue, 3 purple, and a yellow. And I can do that in a couple of ways. I can either discard a card from my hand, and this counts as 2 resources, or I could get rid of one of these tokens. But if on your turn all you can do is draw a card and pay with cards, it's going to take a while to pay for cards if you're just using other cards to do that. So we'll talk about how that gets cheaper in a second. But one of the cool things are these tokens. You're going to be paying these tokens to pay for the cards. But you're not just paying this in and it goes away. You're paying it and then passing it around. So I take this token, I'm paying it, and now my buddy over here has 2 of those that he or she could use. And so that's a way that you could pay for it. Or you could start to make these cards cheaper. Once I get this card into my tableau, now I have 1 free symbol. So anytime I try to play another card into this area, I get to ignore one of the costs starting at the bottom. So now I get to ignore this bottom cost, whatever that was. Let's say that I had another red card that I was trying to buy. Because I have 1 here, I get to ignore this bottom symbol. And it doesn't matter what the color is, I just get to ignore that one. And so now I have this in my row. And now I have 2 red symbols in this one. So the next time I go to buy a red card and place it in there, I can ignore the bottom 2 symbols here. And so the cards just get cheaper and cheaper, which is a very familiar aspect to what Splendor is. Once I have the requirements for this project, like this one I need 2 of each color, once I have that, or 2 of these 4 colors, then I'm going to lay claim to this project. We figured it out and I score 5 victory points. And that all sounds very familiar, but what is different about this game is this fancy little player sheet right here. And this is what makes this game unique and fun, and every game different, is that there are 60 different cards in this deck, and they all relatively do something different. And so on the card, it will tell you, okay, 18. Well, what does 18 do? And so you flip over on this little piece of paper and you say 18. Okay, well, an 18 is this specialist has 2 skills. So they have 2 tokens on them. Or maybe you do this one right here, number 4, or 58 is what this one is. So you look on here, number 58. Whenever you draw, blah, 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 and it tells you what you get to do. And so that's what really makes this game unique, is that all of these cards have something different that they could do. Now, here is the kicker. Those abilities are only available to you when that card is on top of your stack. This is so painful and so much fun at the same time. So as long as number 58 here is visible, I have that ability. But the second that I do another one on top of them, that ability goes away, and now maybe I don't have a new ability, or maybe I have a different ability, and that is painfully fun to do, where you have to decide, oh, I really need one more of those to get that project done, but I love that ability that I have, and if I cover that up, then that ability goes away, and that's painful. And I love that about this game. It plays relatively quick. 20 to 40 minutes is not a deep, complicated game. The only negative, I guess, that I could think of is you might have your nose in this a few times, and you might have some analysis paralysis the first few times people play the game, because they're going to be like, well, what's number 30 do? And where's that at? And so you're doing some of that scrubbing along there. And to be totally honest, I'm not a fan of how they did some of this. They just labeled it on here, like they put these certain numbers that just like this one here, this specialist has 2 skills, and it's all these numbers. And if you're looking through here and you don't see it, I kind of wish they would have plopped that down in this grid so I don't get confused. But once you know that that's there, then you're just looking for it. But anyways, that's the only negative that I could really think of it. I wish there was tons more of this artwork, because the artwork in this game is so killer. It is so retro, so good, and I love that. But those are the only negatives that I could think to this game. This is one that if you like those mechanics, you are going to love it. It plays smooth, plays fun, and you're going to want to play it multiple times, probably back to back. So anyways, it's worthy of a pickup in my opinion. So go buy this game. It's called Space Explorers.